Long ago, in a kingdom where thunderstorms rattled the castle walls, a king sat on his throne, staring into the flickering candlelight. Outside, lightning flashed, illuminating the throne hall and the 12 small empty coffins he had ordered to be built. He had 12 sons, each as bright as sunlight and as brave as steel, but his heart was filled with a dark and selfish fear. The queen was expecting another child, and the king was convinced it would be a daughter. In his kingdom, a daughter would inherit the crowns, leaving his sons with nothing. So, in his cruel wisdom, he decreed that if a girl was born, his 12 sons must die to secure her future. The queen wept in the shadows, her tears matching the rain that streamed down the castle windows. The king's order was absolute, and the 12 little coffins waited below, a grim promise of what was to come. As the first light of dawn broke through the morning fog, the queen led her 12 sons deep into the ancient forest. She knelt before them, her voice a desperate whisper. "You must hide here, my darlings. Hide until I call for you." She gave them a final instruction, a signal that would decide their fate. "Each day I will raise a flag from the castle tower. If the flag is white, you'll know a little brother has been born and it is safe to return. But if the flag is red—" She paused, her voice trembling. "It means a sister has arrived. If you see the red flag, you must run. Run as far as you can and never, ever return." Benjamin, the youngest, clung to her gown, his small hands holding on to the last moments of warmth as the wind carried their sorrowful goodbyes through the trees. The 12 brothers ventured deeper into the woods, finding shelter beneath the sprawling branches of an ancient oak tree. There, they built a small, sturdy hut. The years began to pass, measured not by calendars, but by the changing seasons. They learned to survive, hunting for their food, cooking over an open fire, and sharing stories to keep the darkness at bay. They became men of the forest, their royal past a distant memory. But every night, as the stars appeared through the small window of their cabin, Benjamin, the youngest, would whisper the same hopeful prayer into the darkness. "Mother will call for us one day. The white flag will fly." Hope was the only fire they had left, a small flickering flame against the cold loneliness of their exile. Meanwhile, back at the castle, a daughter had indeed been born. She grew into a kind and curious young princess, unaware of the 12 older brothers she had never met. One day, while exploring the castle's forgotten rooms, she discovered 12 small shirts, carefully folded and hidden away. Her mother, the queen, finally confessed the heartbreaking story of her lost sons, the red flag, and their banishment to the forest. The princess, her heart filled with a longing for the family she never knew she had, vowed to find them. Guided by whispers of old stories and a pull she couldn't explain, she wrapped herself in a white cloak and ventured into the moonlit forest, following a trail of ethereal fireflies that seemed to dance just for her. The silver trail of light led her to a lonely cabin deep within the woods. Smoke curled from its chimney, a sign of life in the vast wilderness. As she cautiously pushed open the glowing door, 12 pairs of eyes turned to face her. In the firelight, she saw 12 handsome men, and in each of their faces, she saw a reflection of her own, her brother's. They stared at her, a mixture of shock, confusion, and a flicker of resentment. They believed her birth was the cause of their suffering, the reason for their lost lives. Determined to prove her love and innocence, the princess went out into the twilight garden behind their cabin. There, she found 12 perfect white lilies, glowing softly in the fading light. She thought they would be a perfect symbol of her pure intentions, a peace offering. She gathered them, one for each brother. But the moment the 12th stem snapped, a terrible magic was unleashed. The petals scattered like snow, and in a blinding flash of light, her 12 brothers were transformed. 12 white doves burst into the air, their panicked cries echoing through the silent forest. They circled once above her head, then vanished into the night sky. The princess had tried to show her love, but had cursed them instead. As she fell to her knees, weeping, a mystical whisper echoed from the glowing mist around her. It was a prophecy, a path to redemption. "To break the curse," the voice said, "you must not speak a single word for 7 long years. And in that silence, you must find the starwort that grows in graveyards and weave 12 shirts from its fibers. Only then will your brothers be free." With the spectral words still ringing in her ears, the princess found a secluded, abandoned cottage to begin her impossible task. For 7 years, she would be a prisoner of silence and labor. As the seasons changed outside her window, from the vibrant green of spring to the deep snow of winter, she worked tirelessly. She gathered the ghostly starwort, its fibers as sharp as nettles, and began to weave. Her fingers bled, and her hands grew calloused, but she never stopped. She could not speak, could not cry out in pain or frustration. Her silence became her strength, her devotion a silent scream that was louder than any word she could have ever spoken. Each stitch was a prayer, each thread a piece of her soul woven into the magical fabric. Exactly 7 years to the day, as the sun rose over a meadow, she finished the 12th and final shirt. At that very moment, she heard the sound of beating wings. Looking up, she saw 12 doves circling high above her little home. Her heart pounded in her chest. Without a moment's hesitation, she gathered the 12 glowing shirts and ran outside. With all her might, she cast them into the air. As the shirts flew towards the doves, a brilliant light enveloped them. Feathers turned back into hands, wings transformed into arms, and the doves became men once more. Her 12 brothers, whole and human, stood before her, their eyes filled with awe and gratitude. The curse was broken. Her silence had saved them. Together, the 13 siblings returned to the castle. The great gates, which had been closed to the brothers for so long, swung open to welcome them home. When the queen saw her children, all of them, safe and sound, she ran to them, her arms wrapping them in an embrace she had dreamt of for years. The king, seeing the love and forgiveness in his children's eyes, bowed his head in profound shame and regret for the fear that had almost cost him everything. Peace, true and deep, finally filled the castle halls again. That night, as the family looked up at the sky, they saw 12 new stars shining brightly above the castle, one for each brother. And beside them, one star shone even brighter, a testament to the silent strength and unwavering love of their sister. For they had all learned that true love is not always spoken. It is shown through patience, through sacrifice, and through the quiet, powerful act of forgiveness.